Yo, I've got one question for you. Are you struggling to find the love of your life? Do you swipe and swipe on Tinder, then Bumble, then Hinge, and then because you hit rock bottom, ugly schmucks, only to spend hours messaging people you don't vibe with? Well, I've got fantastic news for you. All you gotta do is pay thousands of dollars to the second coming of Christ, and he'll help you find your twin flame. Yeah, this definitely is not a bizarre new age cult with its own 3-part docuseries on Netflix. I mean, don't be silly. In fact, I'll just let Jesus himself explain.
Your twin flame is your best friend in the entire universe. This person was designed for you by God, and you were designed for this person by God to be your eternal companion.
Right, so that is Jeff and his twin flame, Shalia, 2 YouTubers in Michigan who run the organization Twin Flames Universe. And essentially what they do is help people find their own twin flame, basically a super soulmate, and create a harmonious union, just like Jeff and Shalia did. Right, in 2014, Jeff, a lifestyle blogger and guru in Hawaii who sold divine guidance through his website and videos, then flew to Arizona to meet Shalia, a spiritual photographer whom he'd met on Facebook, and he had a long-distance relationship with her after she introduced him to the twin flame idea. And together they started making YouTube videos about twin flames, relationships, spirituality, and life in general, which then attracted tens of thousands of viewers, and they funneled those people into the rest of their business, charging hundreds or even thousands of dollars for extra content, courses, and even personal coaching sessions, all designed to help other people find their twin flames as well. And for almost $9,000, you can get the everything package, including all their products. And for a fee, you can also attend classes on Google Hangouts 4 times a week in which twin flame students share their relationship problems, and Jeff and Shalia offer their divine wisdom. So the couple has also recruited some of their students as coaches as well, and built out a whole business with sales, HR, and all the rest. Now with this, to be clear, the idea of twin flames long predates the organization of Twin Flames Universe. But when looking into this, it actually goes back at least as far as 1886, when a best-selling British romance novel reignited the country's interest in reincarnation. And even today, plenty of people believe in it who are totally unconnected to Twin Flames Universe. Like Megan Fox, for example, who said her twin flame connection with Machine Gun Kelly makes them, quote, 2 halves of the same soul. They met while filming Midnight in the Switchgrass in 2020, but she firmly believes that she literally manifested him into existence, with her explaining, quote, he's literally my exact physical type that I've been manifesting since I was 4. I'm also 4 years older than him, so I think I made him, as well as whatever this is.
It's just a few drops. But yes, we do consume each other's blood on occasion for ritual purposes.
But Twin Flames Universe is different, not just in the way that it monetized the concept, but also in its tightly controlled organization, with ex-members saying that students who demonstrate obedience are promoted to positions of power, whereas students who ask questions or try to establish boundaries are demoted, humiliated, or excommunicated, which is why pretty much everyone outside the group has accused it of being a cult, and as experts have pointed out, it has a lot of culty qualities. For example, Jeff firmly believes that he is the second coming of Christ, with him outright proclaiming, behold, we are the prophesized second coming, and then explaining that he is the father Christ and Shalia is the mother Christ, and their daughter, whom they hadn't even conceived when he said all this, would be the princess of all creation. So together, the trio was referred to as the Master Christ, eternal ruler of all creations by God's loving hand. And with this, when a Vanity Fair reporter asked him about all that, obviously a bit skeptical, he replied, Jesus got the same response when he was like, yo, I'm the son of God. I'm the Messiah. Look, my purpose is to enlighten the world, not to be gentle with it. Now to you, to me, that may sound ridiculous, but for the people who are wrapped up in all this, it means that if they disobey Jeff, they're effectively disobeying God, which of course puts them in a bind because sometimes Jeff tells them to do things that are uncomfortable to say the least. But for example, he and Shalia, with authority, tell their students who their twin flame is. And if you're a straight woman, discovering that your divinely selected soulmate for all eternity is another woman, that can be a bit of a shock, but not as much of a shock as finding out that your spirit is divine masculine, or in other words, you are transgender and you didn't know it. And that's exactly what happened to a Twin Flames Universe member now named Gabe, who identified as a cis woman all of his life. Right, one day, 2 other members said they'd been speaking with Jeff and Shalia and had an important question. In your sex life, do you like to give or receive? And then through a lot of coaxing, coaching, and meditation, Gabe came to the conclusion that he was in fact a divine masculine, with him saying, I was guided perfectly through pointed, logical questions and meditation to the truth. And adding, as soon as I chose to surrender and claim that energy, there was an immediate shift. I felt more peace and calm than I ever had in my entire life. But then one of Gabe's coaches revealed that they had channeled his twin flame, a fellow member and friend named Brianna, who was straight. And when Gabe called her to deliver the news, she fought it at first, but after only a day, she realized those reservations were mere blocks to the divine. And so Brianna flew to California to meet him, and Gabe changed his name, switched pronouns, cut his hair, and came out to his mother as trans. And now at least 3 people, including Gabe, are taking hormones, and at least 5 women who resisted their conversion left the group, with one saying, I've been blocked by the group and everyone I knew in the group since I told them I did not accept being a divine divine masculine. So also with this, critics fear that conservatives are going to take this group as proof that increased cultural acceptance and normalization of gender fluidity will turn otherwise cis people trans. But then you also have others countering, saying the only thing all this proves is that a literal cult is exerting intense social, financial, and psychological pressure and manipulation that can make some people believe their true self is a different gender. Right? And that is way different than the self-initiated process of exploration with freedom and, if necessary, medical supervision that most trans people want. But then also, even for the twin flame couples who don't have to change their gender or sexuality, the entire structure of a divinely sanctioned relationship ordained by destiny creates other problems. For example, one woman told Vice her twin flame was physically abusive, yet she had to post smiling videos on YouTube describing their romantic adventures for twin flames universe. But they're also adding that other women are stuck in risky situations living with partners they didn't choose. And she's not alone in that split between the awful reality of her private life and the rosy public image that Jeff and Shalia made her keep. Right, for example, you had another woman trying to make money as a coach, but that quickly drained her bank account. That's because on top of the monthly coach license fee, she had to buy all the newest courses and products to keep in good standing with the group. And then after saying that all her funds were on hold in a Facebook Live in 2019, she was banned from telling other Twin Universe members about her financial problems, with Jeff and Shalia telling her that she was, quote, choosing poverty consciousness and that they wouldn't let her contaminate group meetings and forums with her struggles. And so after that, she boasted to everyone about her great job and tons of money. Meanwhile, she was in fact going bankrupt, with her only leaving after Jeff suggested she was divine masculine and she didn't want to switch genders. And while some members' lives are ruined by this organization, others enter the group already traumatized, and ex-members say that it preys on that vulnerability. And doing that in blatant ways, like claiming that its healing modality dramatically reduces symptoms of PTSD and resolves childhood trauma, as well as sometimes claiming to cure cancer and other physical ailments, or at times doing it in more subtle ways, like promoting a pull yourself up by the bootstraps philosophy that's vulgar even for self-help, with one of the ways this plays out being the mirror exercise, one of the Twin Flames universe's central practices, with that entailing identifying something your twin flame did that upset you, writing it down, and then flipping the names and pronouns to redirect the blame towards yourself. So for example, my twin is ignoring me becomes I am ignoring myself. And if your twin flame is just some random dude at the gym who has no idea what twin flames are, then interpreting his rejections as you rejecting yourself can lead to some awkward situations. Like with this one ex-member who told Vice that she was coached to ignore rejection and escalate contact with her twin flame even after he filed a restraining order against her. And that person adding that the group actually encouraged her to violate the court order, resulting in an arrest and ongoing legal issues. And then in a slightly different case, Ryan Gosling actually had to file a restraining order against a woman who adamantly insisted that she was his twin flame. But another story illustrates how that mirror exercise comes back in to reinforce the stalkery behavior, with one of the group's members complaining in its Facebook group about her twin flame's restraining order, to which another member responded, "You put a restraining order on yourself. You made false statements. Why did you do that?" With stories like these, it's not like the members never have doubts, but they're so isolated from anyone outside of the group that they never hear anything but encouragement. And that is deliberate, right? There are many reports of Twin Flames Universe pressuring its members to cut off contact with their families unless their family members support the group or send money, which again is a common cult tactic because it keeps the person dependent on the group and closes off external sources of feedback that they might get from family or friends. So in effect, their reality becomes molded and warped by the group. And that's really only gotten easier to do since the pandemic, when people were isolated, scared, traumatized, everything was in flux and getting disrupted. Meanwhile, during lockdown, people were almost exclusively interfacing with the outside world through social media, which is how many new members found Twin Flames Universe, either through reading about the generic Twin Flames idea and then discovering the group that way, or by getting sucked down the rabbit hole of spirituality influencers, self-help content, and the health and wellness space more generally. Now, all of this said, with the negative media coverage that was kicked off by the recent Netflix series, Twin Flames Universe has issued a response. But very notably, it doesn't really address any of the substantive claims against it. Right? Instead, they just deny any wrongdoing and say their members are free to engage with our resources as they see fit. And so for the time being, it seems like Jeff and Shalia are just going to keep on keeping on.